Welcome to the InspireWon Podcast. My name is Vernetta, and I'm the founder of InspireWon. Inspire is spelled INSPIRE. One, WON, it's a wordplay, so InspireWon will win together. I developed this company because I wanted to inspire athletes and leaders across the world, transform them to be able to perform at their peak under pressure. And today, I have a very special guest with me, and we're going to dive into a topic that a lot of people do not talk about. It's involving what do you do when you hang up your cleats, you have to fold up your jersey, when you're no longer playing the game of basketball, football, running track, and where do you go from there? How do you feel? How do you build yourself up to actually continue to be a winner? So I'm going to introduce my guest. It's actually my brother. His name is Tojo Biggs, and he's going to dive into this topic for us. And so I'm going to give him the mic so he can explain exactly what you've done and where he is today. So can you tell us, Tojo?
First of all, thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor to be the first guest on your podcast. So I really want to thank you for including me and thinking about me for being the first person on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, we both were athletes together, and we both had a transition to where we had to, you, for example, had to hang up your spikes, and me, I had to hang up my cleats. And that transition is what we're going to talk about today, and I can't wait to dive into it.
So can you tell the audience what sports did you play?
Okay, my first love was actually baseball.
Uh-huh.
My dad was in the military. Our dad was in the military. So the first sport I ever saw was baseball. I was 5 years old, riding my bike down the street, and I saw a bunch of kids in this field lining up, participating in the sport. At that time, I didn't know it was baseball. I just knew it looked like it was fun. So I rode over there on my bike and actually got into the tryouts. Actually made the team. Didn't know anything about baseball. And that was the moment I knew, I guess mom and dad knew too that, I was an athlete.
Yeah.
I could probably do anything I wanted to do. But baseball, yes, was my first love.
Okay.
The second love was soccer. I played soccer. So from the age of about 5 to 9, I was playing baseball and I was playing soccer.
Okay.
And I was excelling in those sports. Pretty good. I think for me, I knew at an early age, I know your company's about leadership. I knew at an early age that the leadership was in me because once you're one of the best kids on the team, that's an automatic role you're going to get anyways. Because you're leading, all the other players and all of the kids are kind of like following you because you're kind of like the best player of the team.
Yeah.
But baseball was my first love. Soccer was my second. And my third came into be football. Played football, and that was a sport I really excelled in the most. Was football, and we could talk about how I got into that later on. But yes, those 3 sports are what I played.
Okay, so his first love is baseball. Played soccer and football. Can you tell us a time where you experienced and you fell in love with football?
Okay, so up until, like I said, I played baseball. And I played soccer up until the age about 9.
Okay.
Like I said, Pops was in the military, so we moved around a lot. I started baseball in Texas. Then I played it also in Arizona. So we was in Texas and then we moved to Arizona. And then in Arizona, I picked up soccer. So I love soccer because it's a little bit more action. Baseball, you stand around a lot and you wait for action, but soccer was intriguing me so much because we was always moving. There was always something going on.
Huh?
Only thing I like about soccer is if you get kicked, you couldn't kick them back. So that was my main thing is if you got kicked, you couldn't kick them back and you would get these yellow cards and these red cards. So, I love soccer, but the only part I hate about it is, I was getting kicked a lot because I was one of the main players. So I would get double teamed, get kicked, get tripped. It was frustrating. when we was in Arizona, my dad had got stationed to go to Germany.
Mhm.
And before we left, I had a good friend of mine. His name was Andre. He's one of my best friends. Andre actually played football. It's something I never seen before. But his dad noticed that I was a good soccer player because we used to play in his backyard.
Mhm.
And he used to watch me play baseball. So he was like, yo, this kid can make it play some football. So before we got stationed, about 6 months before we got stationed in Germany, I went and saw Andre play football. And so I was like, hey, it's almost like soccer, but I can actually hit somebody now. I can hit somebody, I can, somebody hits me, I can hit them back. But that's the first time I ever saw football. And I went home and told mom, I said, yo, mom. Our mom was like, mom, I want to play football. Mom was like, absolutely not.
Sounds like mom. She does.
She was like, no way, Jose. Can't do that. Can't play no football. We ain't doing that. So I left it alone. I just kept playing, I kept playing baseball. I kept playing soccer. I had to say this, one of my dudes that I idolized in both sports was I wanted to be like Ricky Henderson because he was a bad man. He stole a lot of bases. That's what I emulated my game after. And soccer was Pele. I used to have a Pele lunchbox with me and carried around because he was the best at the time of playing soccer. And he invented this thing called the scissor kick that we all try to do. Football was out of the question. Mom wouldn't let me play football. We got, my dad got transferred over to Germany, and for some reason, football came up again because that's all the kids were playing.
It's
Was
football.
football. That's all we played. And that was the first time I was able to play recreational football. It was in Germany.
So how long did you play? Did you start sports in high school, college? What was that term?
I played at a high level up until college. Up until college. I played at a high level. I started off, like I said, in Germany, and that's where football really became a thing for me.
Okay.
And I eliminated soccer because soccer was out of the question because I couldn't hit nobody. So at that time, my two sports became baseball and football. And my passion for football was growing. Just to say this too, I didn't play tackle football because mom wouldn't let me play tackle football.
Okay.
So in Germany, you were able to play flag football. And I started off playing flag football and I excelled in it so much. The guy that was coaching flag football, he also coached tackle football. So here we go again with this. We're going to be able to play tackle football.
Convincing mom.
So I had to convince my mom again if I could play tackle football. This time she said yes. And that was my journey into playing at a high level football. And the benefit that I had was we were on a base that was mainly Army people and Air Force people. My coaches were actually Army people. They were Army, soldiers. And so they instilled a lot of things into me that I partake in or I have today. Like all those things that they instilled in me,
you can take back with you.
I took it and I ran with it and I use it into this very day.
Okay. So could you tell us a moment when you realized that you were coming to the end of the road for your football career?
That's a tough one. Okay, so in high school, let's just go back to middle school. In middle school, when we left Germany, I was playing football. I wasn't the best, but I was learning the game. When we left Germany, we got stationed in Nebraska. If you know anything about Nebraska, the only thing Nebraska has is football. So me being in Germany and being around these soldiers train us to be, I would call those dogs. I would say they train us to have the passion for the game, to love the game and, to play the game clean, but also you have to be a dog.
Yeah.
If you're on a football field, ain't no puppies, ain't no crying. They instill those morals in me, and those morals, they stuck with me. They instilled excellence, they still work ethic, and they weren't playing any games. And we were just 12 years old, but they were treating us like we were 16 years old. So those ethics, those characteristics, they carried me. And that was the last time my whole career that I had anything like, but it prepared me for what was going to take place in my high school
And then
and college. So we went to, my dad got stationed over to Nebraska, and in Nebraska, all he had was football.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a little bit of baseball still, but football was the thing. Now here's the thing: when I was in Germany, I wasn't doing my proper schoolwork. So when we got back to Nebraska, my mother held me back. So she held me back a year.
Okay.
So I was behind.
Did you play though?
I didn't play. I played
Okay.
rec at this time. When I came back to Nebraska, I was playing rec football. I hadn't got to middle school football yet, because at the time when I grew up, middle school was from 6th to 8th grade. Middle school was there. Middle school was 7th to 9th grade. High school was 10 to 12. I was in 6th grade. I was supposed to be in 7th, but mom held me back because she didn't think I was doing a proper grade. So when I came back, I was in 6th grade playing rec ball. Everything changed for me when I went to 7th grade. And after 7th grade, I was now playing, middle school ball. And I was very good. I was doing middle school ball and I was running track. In 7th grade, I was setting a lot of track records and I was setting a lot of, football records.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a teacher, shout out to Mr. Richards. Mr. Richards knew my situation, that I was behind a year. And in Nebraska, you can't play football if you're 19. And because I was held back, you recognize the fact that if I was to go in high school, I wouldn't be able to play my senior year. So he did a petition for me to what they call reclass back to my original grade. So that meant when I was in 7th grade, I would skip to 8th grade and play 9th grade football, and I'd be back on track again. I could play my senior year. And that was a big old hoopla because a lot of teachers didn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like me at all. They didn't care for me because I was the guy that was very boastful and I was very confident who I was as a kid. So a lot of teachers were against me, but this man fought for me to, skip the 8th grade, go to the 9th grade, to play football. And that's exactly what I did, with the stipulations that I had to go to summer school.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take all the 8th grade classes in less than 3 months. They put it on me. They didn't think I was going to achieve that, but I actually did. Mom helped me out. Mr. Richards helped me out. So I was able to play 9th grade football. So in 9th grade football, I excelled again. Took my middle school team to a championship. And in my mind, the high school that I was supposed to go to, they weren't very good. And it just so happened that the football coach, was also he was the summer school principal. So he knew that, I was a good athlete and I was supposed to be sectioned to go to that school. But in my mind, you have to understand that I had always been competitive, but I was never losing anything.
Yeah.
I was always, whether it's football, soccer, baseball, we always had a winning record. And I knew going to high school that the school I was supposed to go to, they were very good. Without me knowing this, though, I'm just a kid, just being a kid, not knowing that the principal of the summer school was actually the head football coach. He approached me one day in summer school. He was like, "Hey, Biggs, I can't wait to have you coming over here and play with us." And I, just being a kid, goes, "I am not going to y'all school." I just said that out of the wind because I'm just being a kid, not knowing any better. I told him I wasn't going to go to his school, and that kind of stuck with them, and it paid a price in the end. And we could talk about that when we get to that point.
Okay. So you went through high school, middle school, and then college, and then so what happened to your football career in college?
Okay, so there's levels. Like, if you understand sports in any kind of way, there's levels. So I was, like I said, I had the best coaching PB football in Germany. They instilled some morals within me. And then I didn't have that actually in high school. So I was going on just talent. And in high school also, I ran track. I ran track in middle school, played baseball and football. And being a track athlete yourself, when it becomes, when you're in high school, it's not about you just being fast. You got to have some skill with that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a little bit of technique with that. So if you don't have those things, you're just gonna be out there running. And that's kind of what happened to me when it came to the track situation. I wasn't able to play, baseball anymore because, again, I was excelling at football. And when you're excelling at football, you either gonna, your thing is track.
Yeah.
You can't play baseball. You have to run track. And so baseball fell by the wayside my sophomore year, and I kept running track. The problem with that is I didn't have the proper training.
Yeah.
So I was doing everything off of sheer talent and sheer skill. There was no technique involved. So you got a kid out here that's running, I ran 100, 200 long jump, and you can get by with being great in middle school because it's pure talent. But in high school, you got to have some kind of skills or techniques. I didn't have that. So I'm out there thinking that this is going to be middle school again, and finding out really, really quick, it's not like that. If I'm running 11 flat in 100 and I got the guy next to me running a 10.5, that's a big difference. And you can't catch that. You can't catch that at all because you don't have the proper training to do that. So that's kind of what happened in football also. I was, my motto was in Germany, they always used to teach us, be so good that you can't be denied. Like that stuck with me throughout my whole career. Like they told me, you got to be so good. They teach us, you have to be so good that you can't be denied. But when you have to, in your high school, you can be good, but you also have to be prepared for college.
Right.
Like,
That's another level.
That's another level. Like, and if you don't have the right supporting cast around you to prepare you for that, when you get there, that transition is going to be kind of rough. It's going to be kind of rough. And, I had my mom and dad, but at the time, life was like it for them too. And they were kind of, they still was trying to do what they were doing. And they weren't really involved in my high school career. They supported it, but they weren't involved. We didn't know anything about the NCAA rules. We didn't know about the GPAs, the ACTs. And again, I was a kid in school who was confident and loud and really didn't take much off of anybody. And it kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And when I say people, I mean adults.
Yeah.
That includes counselors. That includes teachers. And
coaches,
and even a coach. Even a coach. You have to understand too, like, I had already left a foul taste in the coach's mouth by saying, I'm not coming to your school, but ended up coming there anyways. As a matter of fact, when I went there my sophomore year, I quit because I was so aggravated with the program. I quit and was convinced to come back. So you have to understand, me doing all these things leaves an impression on the head coach. It leaves an impression on the teachers, it leaves an impression on the counselors. And that school was a funnel for the University of Nebraska.
But did you know that at the time?
I didn't know that at the time, but I had an idea.
Okay.
I had an idea. And so knowing that was I had no intentions of going to the University in Nebraska. But my head coach is an alumni from Nebraska, and everybody that goes to my school is supposed to go to Nebraska. And I had no intentions because I was getting recruited heavily by the University of Kansas. And that was my objective, was to go to Kansas. But again, if you don't have a supporting cast and you're not going to University of Nebraska, you're saying out loud you're going to Kansas, nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to help you at all. So you're kind of on your own. And that is exactly what happened to me. What happened to me was I had the GPA, but I didn't have the SET scores or the SAT scores.
Okay.
But what I didn't know was you can take those as many times as you want to.
You can, until you pass.
Nobody relayed that message to me or my parents.
Okay.
And you have to think why, though? Because, he's not going to go to Nebraska. And he thinks he knows everything. He thinks he's confident. So nobody was really helping you. But that plays a big part when you go to college. It plays a heavy part when you go to college. So because I didn't have the ACT scores or the SAT scores, I had to go to JUCO. Again, mom and dad are not familiar with, how the process works. The only thing that mom and dad want we need to do is to get a degree and go to a good school.
And be successful.
Do
something with
that's their whole mentality.
Yeah.
Sports wasn't really their thing. They just wanted me to go to school. So they wasn't really involved with the process of the recruiting process that came along with, me, and because I was being recruited heavily by several schools my junior year, because I was just to take you back, I was the first running back. I played running back on my football team. So I was the first running back in school history to rush for over 1,000 yards 2 seasons in a row. Like, no, that had never been done. So they was on me pretty tight. I was getting a letter of the week, feeling myself. I didn't really have anybody to check the ego. Ego was big,
Yeah.
You having these letters from schools, and you're top dog, and you're this and that. It can go to your head.
It does.
And that's what happened to me. I can tell you, I'm the first person to tell you that's what happened to me. And again, there's levels to everything. In high school, they're supposed to be preparing you for college. And that process didn't happen. So let me just tell you about how football works. Football and basketball and all these other sports, there's a system.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I played in this system in high school to where we ran like an I formation or pro formation. And usually what happens is if you're getting recruited by a team, they're recruiting you based upon seeing you fit into their system in college. So that's why Kansas was really after me, because, my high school, and that's why Kansas and Nebraska recruited me, because my high school football system was the same as theirs. So it's like a plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the next level, it's like a plug and play. So it's not hard for you to learn the system. It's just a little bit more tedious, but it's the same thing. I had two options. They both were JUCOs.
Okay.
They both were like 30 minutes apart. We took a visit. One of the JUCOs was a party school. Mom and dad went. So the first school we went to is in a town called Mason City, Iowa.
Okay.
And then again, remember, mom's whole thing is education. So we went to this JUCO, and JUCO's a little bit different. It's all the dogs and all the players who didn't make it. They all have to go to the JUCO system. At the time, it's every and anybody. And when I say the best of the best that didn't make it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a get in where you can fit in. But the first school that we visited was in Mason City, Iowa. I think it's called North Iowa Community College.
Okay.
But they gave us a tour. We went to the dorm, and there was this dude. His name was Dog. Mom being mom, how she is, she asks questions. Like the coach, let a student give us a tour, and the first one we went to was this dude named Dog, because Dog was the man at that school. And the first thing Mom asked was, "Dog, how long you been here?" Dog made the mistake and said, "I've been here about 3 to 4 years." You gotta think, junior college is only 2 years. Why Dog? Why is Dog
still here?
Still here? And that was immediate. No, we ain't doing that. The second JUCO that wanted me was in Forest City, Iowa. And this JUCO was a Lutheran religion school.
Okay.
And we took a visit over there, and 98% of the kids that went there graduated. There was no Dog, nowhere to be found in that school. And Mom made the choice for me to go to this school. And this was called Waldorf Junior College, which is now Waldorf College.
Okay.
Not knowing anything, and plus, if I take you back, when we moved to Nebraska, I had to ask my parents to not move again, because I didn't want to
keep hopping
around the schools, and they made me that promise to not move again. And as soon as my senior hit, they got orders to Korea. So I am now 18 years old, about to go to college, and my parents are now across the water. So again,
use free.
There's no support system going on.
Yeah.
I don't have that. So you have to imagine, I don't have the support system going to high school with the coaches, the faculty, and even with mom and dad. It's not their fault. They just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm in college. Remember I told you about the system, right?
Yeah.
The system that this college ran was nothing like the system that I ran in high school. So now I'm trying to play catch up. They ran this old fashioned system called the wishbone, and I ain't never seen a wishbone in my life. So now I'm having to adjust to the system and wasn't doing it very well doing that. Remember I told you the coaches that taught me to, they taught me that you have to be the best. You know what I'm saying? You have to be the best. And when I went to college, I wasn't.
Because everybody's good in college.
Because everybody, that was the wake-up call for me. Everybody's good in college. And I wasn't a big kid. I was soaking wet, 5'8", soaking wet maybe at 160 when I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran about a 4.5 40. Now, you go to JUCO, you got to do this 6'2", 230, and he runs a 4.5 40. Who's playing? Me or him? And it's not just one dude, it's several dudes.
The whole team.
The whole team. And these dudes are legit players that didn't make the grades or couldn't pass the SAT. So now we gotta go to JUCO.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a bunch of dogs from everywhere. So I was no longer the best dude in college. And when you're not the best dude in college, you're expendable.
Yeah.
You're expendable. So that's what happened to me. I got into an incident in college where a teammate of ours got into a fight. They went to a party, and I was in the country. Looking out there, it's all country. But one of our teammates had a party at his house, his parents-in-law. So he was a local. He had a party at his house. Our team, one of our players got beat up. He came back to school and told what happened. We all jump in a car to go retaliate. When we get there, nobody's there. So again, these are JUCO kids.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily the best kids in the world. They bad kids too. They rough.
Yeah.
Around the edges. So these guys took it upon themselves. The house had guns, safes, money in it.
Mm-hmm.
These guys took it upon themselves to take the guns out of the safe. And this is our teammate's house. But they were so mad and
they're trying to retaliate.
Yeah. They started taking stuff and stealing stuff out of the house. So when we go back to school, and again, I didn't take anything. Doesn't mean anything.
But you were there?
I was there.
You was with them?
I was with them. And I'm expendable. Why?
Because you're not the
I'm
best
not the
player.
best player on the team you are. So what happened to me was I got kicked off the team. I got kicked off the team. And that was my first lesson in politics. Because I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't there. But I just realized if you're not good, you're expendable at that level.
And they'll get rid of you.
And that's exactly what he did. He let me keep my scholarship, but he kicked me off the team. And I made a choice to return the following year, which was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough to return. And I did it. It was a humbling experience, but I wouldn't change it for anything because it changed my entire life for the better. From that point on, my life kind of went in a tailspin. Because I knew, I didn't have football anymore. And I had been playing that. I've been playing sports since I was
all your life.
So my life was in a tailspin. So I had a coach there that was a wrestling coach. And if you know anything about wrestling in Iowa, it's a big thing. Like wrestling, it's a big thing. But it's a JUCO, but it's still a big thing. And there was a wrestling coach there. He also was the PE coach. He taught badminton. And he watched me play badminton because I was taking his badminton classes as an elective. And asked, did you ever wrestle in high school? I told him, yeah, I lied. I said, yeah, I wrestled in high school. Yeah, I wrestled. She's like, I know you got kicked off the football team. Would you like to come wrestle with us? I'm like, absolutely. I'm there. I'm thinking about my mom, an athlete. You can do anything. I can do anything. Quickly finding out, though, wrestling is a whole different beast in college. It is one of the toughest sports that I've ever done in my life. But I learned a lot wrestling, and it gave me the opportunity to feel like I was doing something because at that time my life was empty because I couldn't play. I couldn't play. And he gave me an out, and I was able to finish that process. of college because he had gave me that out, and I was very grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that led me to my first round of college. That right there.
Wrestling. Okay. Yeah, it's really difficult. I will admit that it's difficult when you've been playing sports your entire life, and then all of a sudden, the sport that you were playing that you love, you can't play anymore. Even from my experience, like I said, track athlete,
Yeah.
and 3-time state champion, went to the Junior Olympics, went through college. My priorities, I think, was a little different when I went to school because I had a lot of scholarships that I could pick from, and I was like, I like to get my hair done, so I think I'm gonna stay closer to home. So I went with Delaware State. They didn't have the best program. The boys team was really good. They won a lot, but the coaching, that same thing you went through, where somebody that takes you on as a wing, it was different from high school.
Yeah.
Where Coach Gunner, shout out to Coach Gunner, he took me, groomed me. Like you said, instilled positive affirmations in you that I get somewhere. And it was no longer that. You don't get those positive affirmations. They don't tell you what to do in order to be great.
Right.
You're just off on this island alone. And then if you're good, if you're good, they may or may not help you. Depending, you have to be a favorite.
Right.
You know, and
It's
that
haunted.
it's
still fun.
and if you're not a favorite, you can easily tell that they start mistreating you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They started putting me in races that I didn't even race. I never an 800. I'm a short sprinter. At this point, I feel like I'm doing it because they just, they want to laugh, clown, because I'm not the favorite person.
Right.
They don't want you to outrace or win their star athlete. So it took a toll on me as well, and I ended up transferring out of that college, went to another college. It actually came closer to home.
Right.
But now opposed to a couple hours, it was maybe 30, 40 minutes up the road. And I actually ran into a different coach who, was more like my high school coach.
Right.
But he pushed me so hard that I ended up getting an injury after it. I had a stress fracture and I was never the same again.
Okay.
I did hurdles, long jump, short sprints. And once I got injured, I didn't see the track afterward.
Yeah.
Because my leg would continue to swell. I didn't heal appropriately. And it was difficult. Even sitting on the sidelines, watching your team continue to win and race. And it's it was destroying me mentally. And I was like,
yes.
I have to find something else to do with my life.
I actually had 2 more opportunities after that. But you have to understand though, if you don't have the support, your mind everything is mental. If your mental is not there, you don't have anybody to change that direction, you're going to make bad decisions.
Oh.
So when I left that JUCO, I had an opportunity to go play at a D2 school in my hometown. And that was just strictly off from them knowing me for what I did in high school. Coach was like, okay, yeah, come on out here, play. You won't have to walk on, you have to earn your spot. Okay, so when you walk on, again, I'm done with college now. By the way, I didn't get my degree because I was messing around. I was, my mind wasn't right. I went to school, but wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing because I was hurt.
Yeah.
And I was angry. So school wasn't important. I was just there to participate and finish out this 2 years. But I did have an opportunity, again, to go to a school in my hometown called UNO. Coach wanted me. But you gotta understand, my mind's not right now. I've been the best player in my whole entire life. This guy kicked me off the team.
You did wrestling.
I'm wrestling now. I'm all over the place. I don't know what I want to do, you know what I mean? But I know I haven't completed football yet.
Okay.
So I'm not done yet in my mind.
Okay.
Football. So I'm going to go down here and I'm gonna try to play, and but I have to walk on. There's no money involved. And I'm on my own. There's no mom and dad around.
No.
I'm on my own. I have to find my own place. I'm not used to working because I never had to work.
Okay.
So now I gotta find my own place and I'm taking taxis
everywhere
to practice.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm getting out of the taxis and everybody looking at me like,
where's this guy going?
Who are you? Aren't you that guy that was, now everybody recognizes me because that's my hometown.
Right.
And I'm taking taxis and I walk on, but they don't want to use me. They want to redshirt me. So in my mind, because I had just went through an experience where a coach kicked me off the team, in my mind, you want to redshirt me because you don't think I'm good.
Yeah.
So when I hear the word redshirt, I'm thinking in my mind, they don't think I'm good. So why am I even here? So I didn't last very long there. I finished the spring, I finished the fall practice, but then I was out. Once I heard the word redshirt, I was out. Not knowing, that's not what that really means. It doesn't really mean that they don't want you. That means they're trying to save you for a later date. But in my mind, it meant to me like, oh, you know that I'm good at it.
Because now I got to sit on the side.
Now I gotta sit and watch these guys play.
Well, you know you can be better.
I know I can play. But but like I'm saying, if I had somebody to explain to me what red shirt really was versus me having my own idea of what it is and me thinking, but that's part of the coaching process too. They never said, hey, Biggs, we red shirt you because we want to save you. They just said we red shirt you. They didn't give me no explanation at all. They just said we're gonna red shirt you, that's it. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, then I'm good. So I ain't gonna be here. You don't think I'm good enough? I'm out. And that, at that time, before I had quit the team, mom and dad were over in Korea still, but they're coming back. Now they're coming back, and mom was pregnant. They're coming back. They're going to Florida now, and mom was pregnant. So now I'm like, okay, Florida sounds good to me, and I'm out, and I went to Florida. And that's when I met you for the first time. And that was my new thing. Like, my new thing was you, I had a sister and I had something that I could look forward to then. And that was my whole thing. That lasted about 2 years, about 2 years old, 3 years old. Spent a lot of time with you. Used to take you everywhere. Took you to diapers. At the time, I don't know, you was a preemie. He was a preemie, so, you had a lot of things that you had to overcome as a child for you to, in their eyes, people's eyes, to be normal. And one of the things you never did was you never talked around other people, but you used to talk with me. Well, mom didn't know that. Mom and dad didn't know that. So when they would take you to speech therapy, I would always argue with them like, there's nothing wrong with her. She talks to me. She ain't talking to y'all. You know what I mean? So they used to always protect you because they used to always think something was wrong with you because you would never talk. And I'd be like, that's not true. But they didn't never see your reaction with me because I was always happy. We used to go see air shows and you was my new thing. I didn't have football, I didn't have anything. You was my new thing. You was my new thing. And that's,
keep you going.
Kept me going. And then within 2 years, I had another opportunity to play football again.
It keeps coming.
It came back around again. But at this time, just to give you a backstory, in high school, growing up period, our father was a DJ. And he excelled in DJing while he was in the military. And also I used to, as a kid, I used to watch and DJ. I used to be around that, and this also pertains to our grandmother. She ran a juke joint in Memphis. Like she had a juke joint in Memphis. And as a kid, we would go back home. I would spend a lot of time in the juke joint seeing adult things. So you have to keep this in mind. My dad was a DJ. My grandmother ran a juke joint. So I was always around what they would call entertainment. Even goes farther to our other side of our family, our the Johnson side of the family. At the time, the Brooks family, they had Brooks Laundry and they did laundry for Elvis Presley.
Okay.
So both sides of our family is something that we do musically. And mom was in a choir, It's funny, I always tell the story. Both our parents are from the hood, the ghetto. But there's two lifestyles within the ghetto.
Right.
Mom's lifestyle they was churchy. They went to church, sung in the choir, all the what they would call this stuff. Dad's side of the family, totally opposite. They was the one that was partying, having a good time. His mom ran a juke joint. They running the streets. They buck wild. You know what I'm saying? So as a kid, I get to experience both of these things, and that without knowing that also played a significant part in my experience as I'm growing up. So to get back to it, I was down in Florida now, and I had an opportunity to play football again. This time they gave me a full ride, another D2 school in Nebraska. All this was, because of what I didn't have. He gave me a full ride, and I was ready. I was packed, went to school.
Mm-hmm.
I made it through training camp, and the coach comes to me and says, "What? I want red shirts."
He was triggered.
He said, "I'm on red shirt." Again, I still don't have the proper support. Like, nobody's telling me what the red shirt thing is about. In my mind, it's like, you don't think I'm good enough. And this is the point where I came to the conclusion that football is not my thing anymore.
Okay.
This is where I was cool with football really not being my thing anymore. At that point, I had let it go.
So you was accepting.
I was accepting the fact that I just don't have it no more, maybe. They don't think I'm good enough to play. And I accepted that fact.
Okay.
I accepted that wholeheartedly. And at that point, I didn't have anything else I didn't know what I was going to do. So what I did was I went right back to Florida, and I spent time with you. But at the time, remember, Dad's a DJ now.
Yeah.
When I first went to Florida, he wasn't DJing like that. He had a kid. He wasn't in the scene. When I went back to Florida, and I said I wasn't going, I was going to stay here. Dad said, "Well, we can DJ.
Uh-huh.
You can DJ. You can help me DJ. I'll get some gigs. You can help me DJ." Now, my dad's been DJing for up until this point, his entire life. But what I didn't know, I understood then, was he was DJing, but he wasn't DJing. He was like a CEO or a manager. And he had other DJs DJing for him. He understood the game, but wasn't really that guy.
Well, he had the business.
He had the business mind.
So that's important.
He was a businessman. If you want to top it off, our father was a businessman. He had people working under his banner. CC Biggs Mobile Disco was his banner. And he always had the best DJs working under that banner. That's why he was successful. And people don't know, we was glorified roadies in high school. We had to set up the equipment, test it. At the time, I didn't realize Dad was showing me a trade that I could fall back on. But I didn't know at the time, my whole thing was sports. We was roading to set the equipment up, all these. And I was never one of those kids that was DJing with Dad. I would DJ sometimes from friends because we had the equipment, but I wasn't. DJing was not my thing. Oh, I hated this. I don't like this. I gotta set this equipment up all the time. It's turning my social life. I didn't like it. But that was his second business. So I hated it. But I didn't have anything anymore, when football was over. And I accepted it. I was like, you know what? I'm done with it, man. I'm not going to ever play football again. I accepted the fact that I wasn't playing football.
But at least you accepted it, because some people
they can't.
Some people will be in their 40s, 50s, and get on the bus to go back there. Can't. I don't play football one of these days.
I mean, it's funny though. It's not just football. I recognize because I was a victim of it. I recognize it's not just football. It's anything that is in the creative field.
Yeah.
If you look at artists today, like band members, they still rocking at the age of 60, 70, because that's all they know.
Yeah.
What they gonna do if they quit doing that? They that's all they know is that I call us creatives. Like I say, we creatives. Like when you're a creative, it is hard for you to adjust because that's all you know. Like even with sports, we're still creative, and whether you're an artist or musician or whatever it is that you got to use your creativity. If you don't make it to the top, it's a struggle because the money's not there.
Yeah.
You're not getting rich off of playing records. You know what I mean? You're not getting rich off painting. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting rich off that unless you are one of the top 1%. And that's hard to get to that level. So it's a rough road for us. And you got kids at the time, you're having kids, and you still have this dream of
being a football player, track star,
whatever it is, whatever the creative is. That struggle's real.
Yeah.
If you got a family and money coming in, everybody look at you sideways. You got to do something. And most people always say you got to get a job.
Yeah.
And when you have all this creativity, getting a job doesn't sound feasible to you. It's not what we want to do. No, I want to achieve this. So I went to Florida and I was DJing. Now I'm the guy in the DJing thing. I'm the DJ. I now realize what Dad really was. He was a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went hard in DJing. Like I flipped the script and everything that I learned with football and sports, I put it all into DJing now. I was like, you know what? I'm about to be the best DJ ever. And I actually accomplished.
You did.
We
radio. It's on the radio.
I went into radio. I went into producing. I went into music. But it all started in Florida when I made this decision. I knew my dad was a businessman, and what caught me was, we had started off in Florida, and we used to do with these NCO clubs, and there was nobody there. Nobody was there, but I gradually, built a following.
Yeah.
So every time we was there, it'd be packed to the point we used to be in this little area, and they had to open up the bar room because it was so packed. And I did that on my own, but it was under the CC Biggs logo, DJ thing. And I realized in myself, like, you know what? I want my name. I want my name to be the moniker, not his name. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm doing the work really, and it's under his name. So in Florida, there was a club called Thunderbirds, and it was a dilemma for me. Like, I knew that I couldn't work under my dad anymore, but I knew if I didn't, that CC Biggs mobile thing was not going to happen anymore. But I still wanted my own name, I wanted to build my own following, and I had made a tough decision.
Branch off?
I branched off. I branched off. And I kept coming back every once in a while to help him out. But eventually I branched off and I went into the club scene in Fort Walton Beach. And there was a club that was modeled after a Vegas style. And there's levels to DJing too. There's levels to everything. I'm going in there thinking that I am King Dingaling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
And quickly finding out that, what Dad taught me it was just a small bit of DJing.
It was basic.
It was basic fundamentals. And when I went to this club, and you had to audition, like you really had to audition. I went to the club. I can mix, but my song selection, because I've been playing hip hop music my entire life and a little bit of pop music, my song selection was terrible for that atmosphere, because that atmosphere was a mixed atmosphere. It was a mixture crowd. You would have to play, R&B, pop, rock. And you have to mix all that together, and you have to keep people on the floor at the same time. It was very strict. This club was ran by a Vegas style company. So they was very strict. I had to audition, and they brought me back. Fortunately, they brought me back because they saw the potential in me. And they put me under this guy's wing. He probably was the baddest DJ I've ever seen, and he was white. Most DJs I had seen were black. But this guy was probably one of the baddest DJs I've ever seen. And he was white, and he taught me how to really DJ. Dad taught me to count beats. He taught me to count measures. He taught me song structure. It's like every song has a structure.
Yeah.
Every song has a structure. You're mixing wrong. You're mixing on that dot, dot. You gotta count measures. And once, I learned how to count measures, it was all. But my DJing career still wasn't complete. I just learned now to take it a little bit step higher. And this guy was teaching me, song selection, how to mix a 70s song with a R&B song, how to take a rock song and mix it with a pop song and keep the people on the floor at the same time. He was teaching me all this. And when I got good at it, this joker left and went to Vegas and was making a lot of money in Vegas. So my whole thing now, if he go to Vegas,
I can go to Vegas.
I can go to Vegas. He did it. It doesn't work out that way, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out that way because then life started lifing again. And I'm having kids, I'm married, and DJing is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so you have to, again, I'm in the tailspin because I'm a creative. I got to figure out what I want to do at this point. But I took DJing to the next level.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part. I think that's very important. Once you stop, your first love, which is, football, soccer, even for myself, track, you have to be able to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
Find something else to do where you can also be great and win it, which is DJing for you.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people, they don't do that.
They don't.
They become couch potatoes like bums.
And a lot of them too, though, it's like, that adjustment, man, is tough.
It is.
People don't understand that adjustment because they're not in it. Like, if you're not in it, you're not aware of it. That adjustment is tough. But I think sports in itself, to me, if you have been playing at a high level a long time, that leadership and that go get it is always going to
be in you. Yes.
It's not going to go anywhere. Like,
regardless of what you do.
Regardless of what you do. So you're going to always, and that's why I was able to, have these minor little victories along my way in my journey to I am today. Like you said, I did radio. I went from doing AM, they stuck me on AM to moving to the main station to have my home morning show. And that's all the characters of football. Like, I'm like, man, I'm out there. You got me on the AM show? So to me, AM, you red shirt me? Oh, okay. I worked hard to get to that level. Then I would move on to something else and work hard to that level. But never feeling satisfied. You know what I mean? Never really feeling satisfied about those accomplishments. But they were accomplishments. They were a little accomplishment. But in the eyes of society, they're not, because we view people on how much money they make. Yes. Not those little accomplishments. Nobody care about your accomplishments. Right. What you got now? What you doing now? What you driving at? But not knowing that that's a lot of work. It is. Like, that's hard to do. And radio is one of those creative things. You're not going to make a lot of money doing radio. You ain't make no money at all. But those accomplishments are major accomplishments. But in the eyes of the world, what are you doing? Like,
it's small.
You ain't making if you're not making no $1 million, you ain't making no money. They don't see what it really is.
But everybody can do it either.
But that's the whole thing. Not everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? And for me to go from radio from that point and then branch off and try to do bigger radio, and then from there going into production, like doing commercials for radio, and then from there doing my own music, learning how to play the piano, learning how to, write. No, that stuff was hard. Making my own music. I went so deep into it, but again, that's a creative field. Ain't no money in that. So you doing this and you starving at the same time.
And then there has to be a point in life where you have to make sure that, the food is on the table. You survive for your family. So are you going to still be a creative? Can you still do that?
And my mindset at the time was, I ain't working on no McDonald's. My mindset. No, I'm being for real. I ain't working on McDonald's. I'm too good for all that.
Yeah.
I'm not working on McDonald's. I ain't doing no Wendy's. I ain't flipping no burgers. I'm too good for that. Until you are homeless.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me. I have a mom and dad that, can help. But
support you.
That can support. But I'm still a man at the end of the day. And when I was homeless and I got 5 kids, a wife, and we ain't at a home no more, and we living in a hotel, and then I call my mom, that was my wake-up call. I was like, I could be creative all I want to, but the first thing I gotta do is I gotta make some money. I don't care what it is I gotta do, I gotta make some money, because my wife gonna care about me being creative. She care about, can I keep a roof over his head? Can I pay these bills? And can I take care of these kids? And that's the main thing. So I had to balance all that together at the same time, keeping my dreams alive. And that was a process in itself. And it was tough, but it changed my mindset. My mindset was, if I gotta work at McDonald's, I gotta work at McDonald's. If I gotta work at Wendy's, I gotta work at Wendy's. If I gotta DoorDash, I'm DoorDashing. I don't care what nobody says about it. Because my effort is making sure that my kids is fed, my wife is good. And when I realized that, my emphasis didn't go to, wanting to DJ or be the top DJ anymore. My mom played a major part in my decision making. She had told me, because again, I played football, so everything left a sour taste in my mouth. I got kids now, and they're playing sports.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be a coach. She kept telling me,
just coach them.
You got to be a coach. You got to be a coach. And I kept saying, absolutely not. I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to leave them alone. But when your kids have a talent and you've been through it, you don't want them to go through it.
What you went through.
And so I had made the decision to be a coach. And that's what kept me going. It's kept my passion going, was helping my kids coach and doing that and teaching them, how to maneuver in the world of sports, how to be successful, how not, how should do this and do that, that kind of kept me going. At the same time, I was able to still DJing, but my passion turned to the kids.
Yeah.
And that was
absolutely.
And that's what I'm doing now. Making sure my kid is doing what they're supposed to be doing as far as sports. They have my boys have the potential to be something special.
Right.
If they just, and if I just can keep them where I need to be and be the ear that they need to be, the ear that they need to hear, and they can learn from my mistakes, because that's, they went through the same thing I went through. Fortunately for me, I'm able to now guide them in a direction to where they don't have to go through all that.
No. You want to walk and test?
Yeah, if you got a coach that don't like, this is how we're going to do this, If you want to play
that
at
way,
levels, this is how we're going to do this. And then, right now, my new thing is my kids, and I gotta say, my 3 boys that I have at the house, and I got 3 boys at the house, with my current wife, and I got another son at the house, a previous marriage, and all 4 of them right now are to me doing what they need to do to be successful.
And
I have the credit, that tenacity that I had, and I was able to instill in them, and my failures.
Right.
And my failures. It's a process, but I'm able to, maneuver around that, and they make it easy for me now. They got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's complaining about it. They got to do it. They got to eat a certain food. Nobody's complaining about it. So they make it a lot easier for me. So my thing now is the kids.
So okay, full circle.
And the marriage, working on the marriage.
Yeah. That's important.
Working on that marriage, man. Look, a relationship is like playing football.
Okay, so if you have to give an athlete now who's getting ready to hang up his cleat or hang up his jersey, what's some advice that you can give them?
Man, my advice for somebody who's going to hang up their cleat, their jerseys, one day at a time, man.
One day at a time. Absolutely.
It's tough, especially, again, if you've been playing at a high level your entire life and you no longer are that man, the lights is no longer on, the crowd no longer cheering. One day at a time. One thing you don't want to do is make bad decisions. Get around some people that support you. Get around some people that, can influence you or help you take that creativity to another place.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, man, don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah, don't quit. Keep going.
It's not.
It's not. There's more to life.
More than life out here. It's not the end of the world, but we have a tendency to think that it is. And we see all the time when people make a bad decision when they stop playing sports, and that's
in the wrong environment.
Yeah, that's high school, that's college, that's even pros. You see what happens with them.
Any level. So
my advice is don't give up.
Keep going.
One day at a time. And you're going to find your next sport, whatever it is. You're going to find your next baseball, football, but it just be a life.
Yeah.
It just be a life.
And that's important.
That's it.
So while you may hang up your cleats or your jerseys, there's other things in life that you can do that you can win at, re-identify yourself, get some strengths out there, and be a great leader.
That's it.
That's it. That concludes our podcast.